What's up, guys? This is Joe, otherwise known as Catching BTC on Twitter. This is Bitcoin Watch number 5 or 6. We'll find out on the video title, where I do technical and fundamental analysis on Bitcoin's price action as well as set price targets and expectations for the future. Um, so we've had a pretty interesting week on Bitcoin, to say the least. We've had a big run up to 14,000 or 13,800, I think it was. We've sold off and we're currently trading at about 9,800. So it's been volatile. It's not been easy. I got stopped out of a short, which I'll show you in a second. But I wanted to start on this little thing I posted on my profile. If you want to follow me on TradingView, it's catching BTC just as it is on Twitter. Do a lot of Bitcoin and gold and Forex type stuff. Anyway, so if we take a look at this chart that I did a while ago, we did actually end up trading pretty close to my target. My macro target was here, and we missed it by about $700. But that wasn't that bad as far as it goes. And we're correcting back down to this. I mean, I wanted to show this because I wanted to show the trend channel and how we've respected it throughout this whole run up, on the way up and sort of on the way down. But so if we take a look at this trend channel, we've come up here, we've broken into it, which is the long term sort of trend channel. We've come up here, tested another trend line, sold off, tested the exact bottom of this trend channel, pushed all the way back up, tested the top of it, sold off. So this is a strong trend line. Sold off here, picked up some more liquidity, pushed all the way up to fucking 14,000. I have no idea how, whatever. Come all the way back down, and we're getting there. We're getting very close to this middle trend line. And I honestly think, because of how well it's been respected, I just don't see us breaking through it. I really don't. We are trading quite far down from the parabolic run up, but I just don't see us breaking it, at least on first attempt. So I've put it in a chart that we can go through now. So this is the trend line I was talking about. And as you can see, we're trading there. I mean, if we looked right now, it's probably at about 9,300, but there is also that's not my only reason for buying here. You should never just trade off trend lines. I think it's stupid. But if you've got confluence of other indicators, there's no reason why you shouldn't be taking the trade. So we're just going to pop in some moving averages here, mostly just looking at the 50 and 100s, and 200, I guess, is support. We're also going to pop some Fibonacci's in, the classics. When I have a macro parabolic Fibonacci to look at the whole move, because it gives us a good idea of where we might expect a turning point. And we'll just put in a fib chart from the bottom of here, although I don't really want to do it. I'll do it anyway. So my real macro target, I mean, this is insanely strong. How we've almost 3x since the bottom. How much is it? 335%. I mean, if you don't think that's bullish, you should probably quit trading, as you obviously don't understand markets, especially Bitcoin. So whatever, we are in a bull market. Insanely strong move up. There is still a lot of buy pressure in the market. And so when there's that sort of amount of buy pressure, we've had this such strong reaction, you're really looking to go long, either at the 236 or the 382 on sort of a macro retracement to move up. And if we put the 382 into the graph, whatever, it's close enough. I'll put it yellow so it sort of matches up. That's exactly where we're currently trading, or were trading. We bounced off it sort of, not very strongly. So this is really where I expected, within this sort of defined zone that I'm about to point out is where I really expected to have a market turning point. We've also got the 618 there of that final parabolic move up. So that's also offering buy support, which is probably why we've had a bit of a bounce here. We've got the 382 and the 618 from local support and resistances. But it's important to note, I'll zoom in a bit, that I think a lot of new traders, this will catch them out, and it's hard to understand, and it just comes with time, understanding how this works. But we were only trading, what's happened here? We were only trading at 7,400 20 days ago. 20 days ago. That's less than just less than 3 weeks, or on 3 weeks. So when you're trading like this sort of parabolic move up, you have to remember that there really isn't a whole lot of local support or resistance points, especially on this whole way up. So, coming down, you wouldn't have expected any of these to offer any sort of support at all, or resistances, because that's just so brand new locally, no one respects them. Even if it does align, and this is where you sort of get tricked out, a lot of new traders, is that even if that local support resistance, hold on a second, even if that local support resistance does line up with a historic resistance, like let's talk about this 11.8k resistance that I did end up joining but got fucking stopped out. Well, I scaled in, but I got stopped out anyway. But yeah, so you look at this, is one of the strongest resistances that we just smashed through, completely smashed through, obliterated. We didn't even stop. We really literally didn't even stop. I think it touched it, traded there for about 30 minutes, and then pushed all the way back up to 14,000. And you may look at this chart and be like, when we were trading up, people are like, oh, okay, there's the support here at 11.8k, so let's buy there. You have to remember, locally, there is no support and resistance here. It's literally just almost a vertical line up. We never spent any time accumulating here. We never spent any market time really, building up any buy support at all. So these mean nothing, even though historically they are strong support and resistances. But the fact that locally we just haven't spent any time there, they just mean nothing. Or they don't mean nothing, but they just mean a lot less than they would otherwise. So, when we're on these parabolic rides, you have to remember that all the support and resistance points really mean a whole lot less. If we're talking about resistance, buy support, after this move up, we're only really talking about this sort of zone here. I'm just going to get rid of this 382 so you guys can see it a bit clearer. That's really the first buy support we have, excluding Fibonacci and all that. This is the first support resistance buy support we have from about 9.4, 9.5 into 9.100. And there's a few elements that's making me, I'll go a bit more in depth into this zone now, which is why I'm targeting it. We've got this trend line I was talking about earlier, which is very strongly respected throughout the bull and bear market of 2017, 2018, 2019. So, first off, I'm expecting reaction here. I don't know whether it will be the final trend changing reaction, but there will be a reaction nonetheless. So in this zone as well, so if I forget the Fibonacci's and I just plot support and resistance, we've got, delete these. If we're just using support and resistance here, trading, I'll even take the moving averages off. This is where I'd expect the market turning point to be. Look, we've had one market turning point here. We traded below it, touched here, another market turning point, broken above it, bounced off it, market turning point. Traded a bit choppy through it here, another market turning point here, and coming here, have another market turning point here. Sort of spent some time trying to figure out whether we're going to reject it again, broken through it, and now we're coming down for another retest of this zone. So I am expecting reaction, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be the market turning point, but I am expecting a reaction. I will be taking a leveraged long position here. So if we add back in, let's talk about why I'm really targeting this zone. Absolutely everything that I'm looking at. Okay, so there is also some other fib extensions that I'll look at in a second. Okay, so in this zone, we've got the 786 essentially, or the last buy support from the 618. So this is really the stop zone of the 618, and I imagine some people will probably be getting stopped out. We have the macro 382, this whole move up, which is really, in this zone here, I would expect a market turning point just because of how bullish the market is and how many buyers are interested in pushing this market up again. So we also have the 48.5 moving average, but let's ignore that. We'll call it the 50 coming into this zone exactly, which is really what I wanted to see. I was saying in the Discord that I was waiting to see these moving averages push up a bit so that I'd be a bit more confident in taking the long trade from these zones on the way up, on the way down even. So I really like how that 50 moving average is coming up, because I've touched on it in a few other videos, but look at this, the 2017 bull market. This once we went a bit parabolic, the 50 moving average just offered so much buy support. So much buy support on the way up, and so did the 100, which is why I wanted the 100 to sort of move up a bit so that I could be slightly more confident in the trade that I'm about to take. But I'm going to go with the 50 moving average just because I think it will offer a reaction, maybe not the final reaction, but it could be. And so when you're trading this sort of position, you want to be quite conservative with your profit targets. You want to be scaling in and out to make sure you get the best price available and make the most money. So we're coming into this zone now. We've got the macro 382, sort of trading between the 618 and 786, where you would expect a market turning point on sort of like a local retracement. And something I did want to cover off again is that when we came into this bull market in 2017, we take the peaks and the troughs. I've covered it quite a few times, especially in the Discord. 30%. Next one. 40%. Next one. 40% again. So, I'm really targeting a 30 to 40% retracement. And if we look here and bring that down, so 30% will be here. Look, so that mangs up with 382, 618, and we've had a bit of a reaction here, pardon me. So if we move it down to 40% here, this is really the extremities that I expect us to see, and it will line up with that 100 moving average as we sort of trade closer. So this would be really my stop zone on the long, and I'm going for a long-term position here. I'm not interested in below leverage, low interest funding on the position. So I'm really interested in getting the best price possible in this margin position and not getting stopped out. But so I sort of look, I really think this will be the final retracement. Whether it ends up bouncing at 9.4 to 1, or whether it ends up bouncing 7.6 to 8K, it's hard to know. But I really think this will be the final retracement before we test new highs. So if I got into this position, I'd be taking profits here, and a high of 20K. I'm not going to put specific entries because that's exclusive to my Discord. But my stop would be below this technical level here. And this is a risk reward of 5, well, 1 to 6 basically, 1 to 5. So as you can see, the risk reward on this trade is massive, absolutely massive. I just, this is a very smart trade that I think everyone should be taking. So I'm going to zoom in and sort of back up this zone as well again. So delete all these. I can see them anymore. There we go. So I'm going to leave this zone in there so that when we zoom in a bit, it makes sense. Let me take the moving averages off. Going on the 30-minute and take a look at some of these retracements and how they line up with our zones. We're just going to do some fib extensions on the short side. So we come up from here, from the bottom. This is the first retracement. We've got the 382 of a pretty macro retracement. So the 382 should offer some reaction. And we also have the 168 at 9K as well. So if you look at that, there's a really strong technical level coming in here. I think that's what my line was supposed to be. So we've got the 382 on this 1618 zone to sort of be looking for. And a note on that is when you're using fib extensions, you sort of the 1618 and the 2618, you should be using depending on the market we're in. So if we're on the bullish side, we should really be targeting the 2618 to be taking profits and to expect a market turning point. And if we're so bullish, then when we're using fib extensions on the short side, we should really be targeting the 1618 and depending on the move, the 382, not the 2618, because we aren't in a strong short market at all. We're in probably one of the most bullish asset classes in history. And we're definitely not in a bear market anymore. So if I just add a few more of these fib extensions in, you'll just gradually start seeing, these are a bit silly. I do get a bit too over the top with them, but I just love seeing how these zones line up with these fib extensions so well. And once you've been trading with them for so long, it's just really nice to start seeing some confluence. So look at here, we've got this 1618 line with the 382. We've got these 3.618, which I don't really like to use as targets, but in this instance, they are lining up in my zone. You've got the 2618 just coming up at 9K. We really have so many of these fib extensions really coming towards this price level here that we're about to trade near. And this is probably a better angle to look at the support and resistance that we've got here. We've got this support here that when we broke above, we tested it and it was quite strong. So we should expect that to have a strong level. And this is really the first level of support we're testing. I wouldn't really call any of this, past 9,500 really any support whatsoever. I mean, this I would call support, which we did bounce off. Apart from that, I really wouldn't call anything else support resistance. It's all just quite overbought, and we're coming back down to normal levels now. So just take it. As we look in here, you can see how strong that support and resistance is, and it's the first real support and resistance that we're going to test. And I should expect a market turning point here. But I hope that covered everything I was looking at and just gave you guys a bit more of an overview as to what's going on. Make sure to drop a comment if you have any questions. And if you're in the Discord, just message me directly. Have a nice day, guys. Thanks for watching.